All right, well, as you can tell, I got a sweet little flashlight there in front of me. You know, this is it's a nice flashlight. It's nice and silver, but you know what? I'm very picky about my weighting. Like, it's got to be weighted properly. So, you know, I'm going to I'm going to get rid of the thing that is totally keeping it heavier and get rid of this battery pack right here. It just adds weight. So, okay, it's nice, much lighter. So, all right, so I'm going to test my flashlight. It's not working. I guess I should return, so I can return this, right? It's obviously a piece of junk. It totally didn't work. No, why not? But the batteries are heavier. They make it heavy. I want a particular weight. This is nice and light. I need but the batteries, they make it heavier. They also cost money. I have to replace them every so often. I don't want batteries. Why do I have to have batteries? Fine, I'll put the batteries back in and see if it works and don't want them. All right, let's see, make sure I got this right. Okay, let's see. Now try it. All right. Never look directly into the flashlight when you're turning on. Never look directly in a hose when you think it's kinked, or else you're going to get very wet. Yes, I know that my flashlight requires batteries to work. It's very silly for me to think that I can just get rid of something because, well, I don't want it and expect the same result. So I can sit there and I can have a giant flashlight that's really heavy and say, well, the batteries make it heavy, I'm going to get rid of it. But it doesn't work once I remove an important part of it. Well, what is our theme for 2018? Who could tell me? Dustin. Making room. So Captain Chad's been up here on Sunday. He's been talking about different ways we make room in our lives for the things of God. And today I'm going to be talking about making room for service or faith and works. So serving others is a really important part of following Jesus, and we don't want to forget that. Now, the passage that Jackson read today is from a book or a letter in the Bible called James. Now, here's what you got to know about James. James was actually Jesus' half-brother. You see, after Jesus was born, Mary and Joseph actually had other kids. And so here is James, and he's like Jesus' half-brother. So here you go. By the way, wouldn't that be difficult? Why can't you be more like your brother, the Son of God? That's the statement right there. He's the Son of God. How can I live up to that expectation? I mean, I'm the older brother, so I never had the why can't you be more like, I was the one that I'm sure my brother resents now because, why can't you be more like your brother? Well, neat thing about James is, at first he did have trouble with Jesus. We know in the Gospels that at one point he's with his family are kind of really embarrassed all these things Jesus is doing because he's causing all this trouble. But we do know that after Jesus died and rose again, he became a follower of Jesus and actually a very, very important leader in the church. And the part he read from was a letter he wrote to Jewish Christians who knew the Bible really well. They could if we gave them a Bible quiz today, they would get 100%. They knew it all. The problem was they thought that was enough. They thought that if we just knew the right stuff and get the right answers on the test, college and high school students, we all just want the right answers on the test, right? That would be enough. But James reminds them that following Jesus is more than just knowing stuff, that God wants us to do things. Now, we do need both. Now, here's where I'm going to need help. I'm going to need a couple of volunteers who are into construction. And I think I am going to I'm going to get Dustin up here. And you know what? I am going to get Alex up here. So here's what we're going to do. We are going to build a bridge today. So I think we'll flip up to there we go. So I am going to give you a series of blocks, and I want you to build a successful bridge, keeping this hockey stick upright. And these are the blocks you're working with. There you go. All right. Make a bridge that's sturdy and stable. But remember, it's got to be both sides too, so. And I'd like it to be 4 blocks high. So if you can try to get it at least 4 blocks high. You could use the other 2 if you want to make it taller. Now you can't hold it too, right? Remember, once you got it up there, you gotta have to. Okay, let's see. Ooh, we got some engineers here. Let's see if they pull it off. All right. And okay, 3, 2, 1, let go. Now, I will admit I have set you up for failure here, so thank you very much for trying. All right. I admit I set that one up for failure. Well, the reason I set that up for failure is this, is that my first thing I want to talk about is, when it comes to faith and works or doing good things, we have to start with a faith in Jesus. We do need a faith in Jesus to build off of, which is our next point, which is our first point. We need a faith in Jesus to build from. You see, I didn't give Dustin and Alex the right tools. Or I didn't give them sufficient tools, good tools, because there's really going to be really difficult for them to build a decent bridge when I give them a weak foundation. Well, James is not saying that your faith doesn't matter at all. In fact, he wants that as the basis of the things you do. He wants it to be the foundation. Now, I'm going to have some Bible passages come up here, so I'm going to need someone who can take the microphone around to people who want to read it. So, do you want to do that, Xander? Do you want to be my microphone guy? All right, you come up and take the microphone. So our first passage is from the book of Hebrews, and who would like to read that out loud for us? So Xander, well, Alex has already got his hand up. So Alex, so you take the microphone to Alex, and he will read out that passage.
Without faith, it is impossible to please God. Those who come to God must believe that He exists, and they must believe that He rewards those who look to Him. Hebrews 11:6.
Without faith, it is impossible to please God. Our bridge didn't work because we didn't have a firm foundation. We can have all the best intentions of the world of building a really great bridge, but if we don't have a good foundation, it won't stand. Now, what is faith? How does the Bible define faith? So I need someone, there's going to be another verse that comes up, and I need someone who's willing to read that passage. And there's Dustin. So Xander can take the microphone to Dustin.
Hebrews chapter 11, verse 1.
Faith is being sure of what we hope for. It is being sure of what we do not see. So you're going to still need to hold that mic, so we've got some more passages. So if you want to grab a seat for a minute, Xander, that'd be great. It's not just, oh, well, maybe. It's believing and knowing. Now, the great thing about history is it shows us lots of men and women who followed God and trusted Him. Who has ever heard of Martin Luther King Jr.? Who has ever heard of William Wilberforce? Probably a few less people know this guy. All right. Who has ever heard of William and Catherine Booth? I hope most of us have heard about those two. Well, you know what? William Wilberforce was an English politician who tried to get slavery made illegal in the British Empire. And Martin Luther King Jr. in the U.S., they just celebrated a day set aside for him, was someone who believed that the laws that kept people of color from being involved in activities with white people were a problem. And he went to try to change those laws. And William and Catherine Booth started a ministry to reach the poor of London, England, because they believed that something needed to change. But you see, each one of those people always said that the reason they did what they did was because of Jesus. They didn't just do it because, well, it seems like the right thing to do. They did it because, no, it's the right thing to do because God wants these things. All right. Well, we're going to try building a bridge again, so I need 2 more engineers. 2 more people who are willing to come up and build. And I'm going to get Sammy to come up. And I'm going to get... All right, I'll get... actually, get Xander, because to be fair, Xander was... All right, so this time, you are going to build your foundation, but I'm not giving you the stick. But you can't use the blocks to build the bridge. You can only use them to build the foundation. So I want you to build a foundation that is this wide, so 2 by 4 wide. Build it up, and we'll see what kind of bridge we have. But no stick, and I don't want you to use the blocks to actually bridge the gap. All right, go. Let's see how siblings do with this. Hopefully that'll be enough. All right, done? All right. No, don't stick. Is it a good looking bridge?
Yep.
Is it a bridge?
Not yet. You only have 1.
Well, we don't need that piece, so we'll put that one aside. And now if you can't see, they have a wonderful stable foundation here, but nothing to bridge these gaps. So you guys, wait, we'll put the stick on the side, but we're not putting it on yet, all right? So you guys grab a seat for a second, all right? Maybe, but that's not what we're trying to do today. You see, we can have a great foundation, but we need the bridge. So our second thing we should think about is our faith is real when we act. And that should come up as after this next one. Our faith is real when we act. You see, if we don't act, do we really believe something? Now, James later on in his letter wrote something else, and I'm going to get Xander. I need someone who's willing to read this next verse that's going to come up. See if we can get someone other than Alex and Dustin. Anyone other takers? Maybe. Okay, Xander.
If you are wise and understand God's ways, prove it by living our honorable life. Doing good works with humility. It comes with wisdom. James chapter 3, verse.
Thank you. If you are wise and understand God's ways, if you have these pillars in place, prove it. Doing good works with the humility that comes from wisdom. You see, we can have these wonderful pillars in place, but the bridge is not complete until we put works together. So I am now going to ask Josh to come up and put the top of my bridge on. So Josh, can you come around, bud? All right, so Joshua, can you put the stick? We're going to put the stick on top. And let's see if our bridge holds. It holds! The siblings celebrate. See, because we built a strong foundation, we're able to act. We're able to complete the bridge. This could be another verse that comes up on the screen, Xander, so we need another reader for us. See if there's anyone else. No, that's okay. I'm trying to. I just want to spread. I like spreading the wealth around. Okay, we're gonna let Amy try without. I think Amy's a performer. She doesn't need a microphone, so we're gonna let Amy read it out.
And you yourself must be an example to them by doing good works of every kind. Let everything you do reflect the integrity and seriousness of your teaching. Titus 2, verse 7.
We can say we follow Jesus, but unless we start doing the things God wants us to do, it's like the pillars of a bridge without an actual bridge. But if we just try to do good things without thinking about what God wants us to do, well, they're not a very strong foundation. It will fall apart. Okay, I'm going to take the microphone back, Sanders. Thank you very much. And remember those, who can tell me those three, well, really four names, but four names I listed off. Who remembers them, the names? We had, WW was William Wilberforce, and Dustin, Martin Luther King Jr., and someone in the Salvation Army, come on. William and Catherine Booth. Well, you know what? They acted on their faith. And because they acted on their faith, they changed the world. William Wilberforce did get slavery made illegal in the British Empire. Martin Luther King Jr. and the people who worked with him did get laws changed to do their best, to at least end the laws that kept colors and whites apart. And William and Catherine Booth changed the world. We have placement students here, so you guys know them because they're here at Kids Club and Sports Zone and PA Day. When we introduce them to being here, we tell them, you know, it starts off in downtown London, England, even older than Canada. And today we're in 128 countries, sharing the gospel not just with our words, but the things we do. We have our strong pillar of faith in the bridge of good works. So what do we do with all this? Let's put this all together. You see, we need that strong foundation and trusting the Bible, and then we need to go out and serve. So I have a challenge for, well, definitely everyone. Kids, whether you're 3 or you're a big kid of 103. By the way, I received a grand insult this week. Grand insult this week. I was having supper with some of our placement students at the end of our day, and they said, "Well, Noel, you're an adult." It's like, what? That hurt my feelings. Not really. Actually, I will be honest. It actually, when someone says you are an adult, there's always that level of shock. Like, really? I'm an adult now? I don't know how I feel about that. But even when we're adults, we need to think about how can we serve people and serve God? How can we have our firm foundation of faith and make room to serve others? So at this time, I'm going to invite the worship team back, and we're going to sing a song because I talked, when Alex and Dustin tried building their bridge, I gave them a weak foundation. There was no way that they were going to be successful because they didn't have the foundation to hold the weight of the bridge. And we can have all the best intentions of the world to help others. But if we don't build on that foundation of knowing Jesus, it won't be strong. It'll look strong for a minute, but then things will come and they'll knock them off. Knock it off its pinnings. So, I'm going to invite you to sing a song with us. The heart of worship. When the music fades and all is swept away, and I simply come. When it's all gone, where are we standing? And my challenge to you is this week, really think hard and pray about two things. One, God, how can I know you better? How can I follow you better so that I can serve others? And maybe I'm like, you know what, I think I have a good sense of who God is and what He wants. But you're like, I don't know what He wants me to do. Then I say to God, God, show me how I can serve others. Show me how I can help other people this week. In the Bible, there's a guy who knew his Bible really well. And he came to Jesus and he said, "Teacher, which is the most important commandment?" And Jesus gave him this answer: "Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all of your soul. Love Him with all of your mind and all of your strength." This is the first and most important commandment. And the second is like it. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. Everything that is written in the law and the prophets is based on these two commandments. So as we bring ourselves before God, I invite you, if you want to come to the mercy seat, these wood benches at the front, there is nothing special about the wood. We did not dip it in holy water. I didn't cover it in a special holy lacquer. But it's what it symbolizes, a place to come and talk with God and say, God, I want to follow you better and I want to serve others. I want to love you and love others. And if you want someone to pray with you, they will pray with you. If you want to come stand at the holiness table and pray, it's a great place to come. Or if all you want to do is pray in your seats, you can do that. But what I challenge you to do is not leave here saying, oh, well, that was kind of fun. Noel built a bridge with kids and they sang some songs. I believe God wants to change us each and every day. And here's another opportunity for Him to change us from the inside. To come back to the heart of worship. Worship is music and it is deeds. Let's build it so we have both our faith and our works together. And it begins with a heart of worship.